his opening statement, and thank you all for your testimony. We'll now move to the question and answer portion of the hearing, and I will begin the questioning and recognize myself for 5 minutes. So my congressional district in Southwest Virginia is mountainous, rural, spread out, and is actually by land mass larger than Hawaii. So I can understand some of the problems and concerns that you all have. But the picture I get is that there were lots of warning signs out there that wildfires were a prominent threat, particularly on that end of Maui. So I guess, Ms. Kimura, do you all gather information in real time on weather reports when planning preventive maintenance and power generation activities? And before a storm like this, do you have plans in place to watch what's happening and what's going to occur? Because we know the National Weather Service was telling folks a couple of days in advance this was going to be a big one.
Thank you for that question. So we do monitor. We were very aware of the red flag warning of the high winds. Forecasters were indicating that it would be 35 to 45 mile per hour winds with gusts of 60 miles per hour. They later indicated, as this was happening, that they had then forecasted that parts of the state were experiencing much higher winds and gusts of about 80 miles per hour.
When did you get that information, and were you all watching this yourselves? Was somebody monitoring that on a minute-by-minute basis?
We have our teams, not me personally.
Yes, ma'am.
We have our teams that are getting the information from from third parties. It's not our own team looking at it, but they're getting it from third parties looking at that. Do
you know when you learned that the winds were going to be higher than you originally anticipated?
I don't have that information right now.
Did you get that to the committee after this hearing, obviously?
Absolutely follow up with you.
Yeah, and here's the reason I ask. We get snowstorms. Y'all don't have that one. But we get snowstorms, and our school systems often will be watching the weather forecast, and even before the first flake drops, if they see significant weather, they shut the school systems down. And so my question is, what was the decision-making process in not de-energizing or shutting the power off in this area, which already, because of the invasive plants, because of the wooden poles, because the wires, the lines weren't insulated, already was at risk? These were all risks that were known. What was the decision-making process not to de-energize or turn the power off on these lines during that critical period?
So in 2019, our teams, understanding what happened in...
And I appreciate the history. What I'm trying to figure out is, on that morning, what was your strategy? And were there people who were awake all night monitoring this storm to see what we could do? What's going on? Tell us and the American people what was going on that morning and why you didn't de-energize earlier.
Absolutely. I'm trying to explain to you why we didn't.
Well, I understand you're going to the process. I'm trying to figure out what happened that day, back in August.
Yeah, so I'm trying to answer your question about why we didn't de-energize.
Okay.
Those decisions were made years before as part of a plan, and as part of our protocols. And so I'm trying to help you understand what our protocols are in that kind of situation. So in 2019, our team started developing a wildfire mitigation plan. And based on what they had learned of the plans in California, including their preemptive shutoff programs, they determined...
That would be the PSPS. Okay.
PSPS, that wasn't the appropriate fit for Hawaii. Hawaii is very unique, and through that process, that's the determination that was made, and we had other protocols in place when there's high winds. So when you're asking why didn't we shut off the power, that is not our protocol to do that.
All right, let's stop right there.
Okay.
Going forward, are you re-examining that? Are you looking at doing the public safety power shutoff programs? Are you looking at that now? And are you re-examining your protocols because they didn't work?
We are absolutely re-examining our protocols. I want to make it absolutely clear that The afternoon fire, the cause of that fire has not yet been determined.
And let
I
me,
recognize,
I heard your testimony, and I just want to confirm, you never re-energized your power lines once you shut them down. Is that correct?
that's right.
And,
A little bit
and,
before 7 a.m., our lines were not re-energized.
and how long did it take for the energy to get out of those power lines? I understand it takes some time. Once you push the button to turn it off, how long does it take where the lines are no longer a danger to the public or to firefighters, et cetera?
I don't know that exact answer,
If you
but
could
I
get
can
that for me
guarantee
later.
you, yeah.
All right, and I apologize, but my time is up, and so I have to yield, even though I'm the subcommittee
I'm
chair.
sorry to-
I have to follow the clock too, and I now